Hello and welcome to Enter the Dragonair's Den, a Pokemon Go PvP podcast and the official podcast of the Battle Frontier. There he goes. I am TacoDog8.
I'm JetForceGemini.
And if you're new around here, welcome. This is a special episode. This is the real reason why I really wanted to come home from last week. We're just going to ignore everything. I missed the best boy Flygon. And I wanted to find a way to keep him on my shoulder, but he lasted a whole 10 seconds, if that.
Yeah, we'll have more time to figure it out.
Yeah, and if you're not new around here, welcome back. We're on video. It's been a while.
Back on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Okay, so I know that everybody was watching the Pokemon World Championships, and we'll get to that in part 2. But for right now, we do have to talk about the insane news that, came out at Worlds, and it's going to be 2 weeks early. So
wait, Taco.
What?
Did you have a good week?
Yes, I had a great week. I actually started my new job today, and I made I totally ruined their surprise that they had for me.
Uh-oh.
They gave me like this little water bottle, and since I didn't know anything, apparently that was some other person's cubicle before me. So I got there and I was like, oh hey, it looks like the previous person left their water bottle here. Do you guys want to send it to them? And they go, no, Taco, that's your water bottle. I go, it didn't click, and I said, but I have this one right here. And then I was like, oh wait, this is a welcome present. Oops.
Yeah. So you're saying you don't like it?
I felt so bad. I just ruined the surprise for them. But other than that, Beldum Community Day was good. I got almost enough to max out my 96 Shadow and my 98. I don't want to call it a functional hundo because I have to look at it, but it's a 15, 14, 15.
Well, that would never be a functional hundo.
Oh.
Because the HP is the one that rounds.
H. Okay,
unless you just mean raw matchup wise, it functions the same. That's different. But
okay, that's kind of what I mean.
Yeah,
because my buddy who plays in the Master League goes, in terms of Master League, you got to prioritize attack. It's up here, and then defense is right here, and then HP is right here. And I go, well, you are the Master League person that gives me information, so I'm gonna trust your word. Insert Hornet saying, Taco, you're wrong.
It's just tough knowing that there is one best IV, in just a straight up literal sense compared to the other leagues. Yeah,
I guess other than that, it was pretty quiet. I stayed home waiting for my first day to start. I can work. I can go back to work. I'm so happy.
There was the Disneyland syndrome in play.
Yeah, pretty much. So other than that, Jet, how was your week?
Well, I'm glad you got to be excited about things.
Look, I was gonna say, you've reached peak adulthood when the most mundane things you get excited about.
Or you were it wouldn't be a reach to say you were in captivity until recently.
No, it wouldn't. It would not. It would not.
So yeah, here we are being excited about getting to live a life.
I'm free.
Yeah. I my week was a little messy. Still getting used to the new way of things, or especially just within the house. It's still a process. Game wise, things were good, and last night was actually really cool because I stayed up late gaming as you do, and I saw the fox from our neighborhood walk right by, like, my back door. Which
just like was
just,
it just like
cruising.
Oh, okay. I was like, was it just like a fox, like an actual fox, just
Yeah,
chilling?
actual real fox, just like snooping around the backyard, like went up on the deck and then took off. It was really like, if you're not familiar with especially the Southern California foxes, like they're really cute. Like, and they're very uncommon. There's not very many of them, especially when you compare it to kind of the size up is the coyote. And
okay.
so it's been pretty special. We had a neighbor send us photos of like the mom and the two kits coming up over their back wall.
Aww.
And so to like see it in person, I was like actually stunned.
That's adorable. Like,
but yeah, you should if you're not familiar just with the kind of, it has like a shorter snout compared to like if you think of just like a European fox where it's like the red and white and long snouted or whatever. It's much more, it's more fluffy. It's got like long black socks like on the legs, and then it's got more of the modeling of the fur and stuff where it's just it's just like someone took the slider and went, okay, let's just go all the way cute.
It is, the way you're describing it is absolutely adorable. If you can, please send a picture. I want to see a picture of the thing.
I'll grab the ones like, because like they sent glamour shots from the neighborhood photos. Like it was kind of ridiculous.
I love it.
But yeah, there was some moves updates or whatever that they kind of dropped on us.
Yes, and I get to do this. I haven't done this in a while. I'm so excited. Bam! Here they are, in all their glory. So pretty. I before we get to the entire thing, every content creator out there has already probably done a deep 40-minute, 50-minute dive into like look at this, look at that, it's so cool. And we're not gonna do that. We're gonna spend like maybe 5 minutes on this, and we're gonna just go from there. My whole biggest thing.
I want to make a quick pause.
Oh, okay. What's your quick pause?
Just because I am now realizing that maybe I'm seeing something that shouldn't be on the video portion, unless I'm mistaken, where it's like the full like editor view.
This is the full editor. So like the screen that you're seeing right here, that's the main thing. Yeah, all like this extra buttons and stuff from like OBS, it's fine.
Okay, I just don't know if I've seen that before, so I was just making sure.
I think I used to do, and this is maiden voyage again, is I would like make a windowed portion, but like I have a windowed projector portion already saved for my Switch, so I don't know if I'm able to do it, or if I can make two of them, but give me a second.
Well, I mean, if this is fine, there's no issue. I just wanted to make sure we weren't.
How'd that look? Does this look better?
Okay, yeah, it filled.
Huzzah! Tech support in real time. Let's go. So yeah, I've just been staring at this the whole time, so I guess I did that. So yeah, kind of looking. I did it for you, Jet. I did it all for you, buddy.
I appreciate it.
So, I guess like my biggest takeaway on this is the Switch timer is the Switch timer itself is gonna make games be so much more fun. Like if you're locked into a losing battle, you just gotta hold out for like 10 less seconds, and
which is a full charge move.
Yeah, so like if they throw a charge move, or if you throw a charge move, and you can like swap at the end of the whole deal, you're like saving that to try to pivot. So it's gonna make games not go faster per se, but like make things more fluid. That's the word I'm looking for. Fluid. And then of course, that's the word. This is why you're the wordsmith. I'm just the I'm just the voice.
I help sometimes.
Yeah. And of course you add a more dynamic PvP with basically they took, PvP and they threw it out the window with, the nerfs to counter, Mudshot. I'm surprised they didn't touch Shadowclaw as much as they did. And just, they buff moves like Fire Spin, Mud Slap. I know you're happy because you're the gastro enthusiast. Gastrodon. And then, of course, nerfing...
There are things about it that I enjoy, yes.
And then, of course, nerfing Grasshole, which... Thank you, PvP gods. Thank you, Niantic. This is a rare Niantic W.
Yeah, it's... If you just look at the nerfs, it's one of those things where it's very clear what they're trying to reduce the usage of.
Yeah.
Or just kind of give that negative reinforcement, I suppose is the right term, where people even though Razor Leaf damage has already been reduced from historical values, like needs more. Like if you don't actively resist Razor Leaf, especially off of a shadow, you're basically taking super effective damage.
Why not just make Razor Leaf a Dragon Breath clone?
Well, and that's always an option, right? Is there's kind of that how heavy should the hand be? But for me,
very heavy.
This kind of sits in a weird spot. Like to piggyback on your thoughts, there's a move towards more dynamic options with the reduction for the switch timer, but then also they're nerfing a lot of the moves that we look at as good. Like you're talking about counter, Mudshot, wing attack is also on the list somewhere. That means that the gameplay will also be slower. So it makes it a little weird, right? Like and this is all leading to like my big perspective is that I would rather see a bottom up kind of style of changes where I always get a little nervous with too many nerfs, because I would rather them touch, the 100 moves in the game that are actively terrible and haven't been changed since they got added in 2018 versus like some of these that have been like tinkered with between 5 and 10 times. Just like trying to find a sweet spot for a few, like a short list of Pokemon. Like there's a few of these moves that literally affect 1 or 2 Pokemon total, where the list of changes is very long, and there's a lot of mons that sit on more than one of these changes. It'll be a different view of the game, right, going into next season, but still not sure how I feel about it just as like a change philosophy, if that makes sense.
No, and that really does. I'm kind of looking at moves that like these charge moves that have historically been a little on the side. Like I see Nightshade, I see Power Gem. They've been, Nightshade was just a terrible move. Everybody forgot about it on Noctowl once it got Shadow Ball.
Yeah.
Power Gem was really only good when there was the flyer meta, especially like in play Pokemon events. And that's probably the only one I can really, knocking Altaria out of the sky was fun.
Yeah, or there's just like a few Pokemon where it's literally their only coverage move. So it's like, okay, well, I'll use it.
Yeah. And so kind of just looking at, I see they're trying to take a little bit of a bottom-up approach with making, like, bad charge moves good. But this update itself, you can really see, like, how you were saying, they were just being really heavy-handed with these nerfs. But I'm also kind of like, well, it says Metal Claw energy generation increased. Maybe it'll finally be a Shadow Claw clone just for absolute psychopath.
Well, but like that also goes a little bit against their philosophy on some things, right? Like, and that's maybe some of the hang up is I feel bad for the Pokemon that are kind of are like as they are in the middle of the pack, and they have been benefiting from these, especially the fast move updates. Like I'm looking at like Steel Wing and Wing Attack, especially where the distribution is pretty wide on those moves, and there have been a lot of like the middle of the pack Pokemon that you could actually run because of that.
Like Empoleon. Wait, does
well,
Empoleon
yeah,
get
or even like in Wasteland, like Fearow is a relevant Pokemon for that reason, right? Like what is its other fast move? Peck? Like it just a straight nerf on Steel Wing like feels bad if you're a Fearow enjoyer, right? Like
to all the people that laughed at me for not having a Fearow, who's laughing now?
Yeah, so they're like, we'll see. I don't love the way that they try to target specific mons that have like been doing well and have been overrepresented.
I wonder how good Shadow, Alolan, Marowak is going to be, because it got a twofold buff with Fire Spin and
Right.
Bone Club.
And yeah, and so that's the other side of the coin is there's then a very obvious push for feels like kind of oddly specific Pokemon. It's like, okay, I guess someone really loves Marowak, someone really loves Golurk, I guess.
Well, I was going to say, you talk about oddly specific. You see that shiny Spiritomb right there with Rock Tomb, and like nobody else got it? Like,
yeah. And the Sucker Punch buff. So I mean, it got a few things, right? And it's just okay, sure, all right, I see it.
Astonish getting a much needed buff because they're like, oh yeah, we gave it a little buff. It was still terrible.
Yeah, no, I mean, hope like we can make this the last thing, but yeah, so with some of these moves, it does feel so strange. Like if you have that historical knowledge, like I'll also talk about Dig in the same breath, right? Whereas like, oh, we buffed it, and now it's like a good-ish move, not great, but now it's on a Pokemon that we want to like
destroy,
scoot out of the meta. So now we have to make it bad again. Like, okay, all right.
Wasn't Dig like before it got buffed? Wasn't it like 7 or not 70? It was like 55 energy.
No, it was high energy.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew it was high energy, but like the power on it was just like kind of mid. Was it like 55 or 60 power?
It was like a 1.0 DPE move, which it blows my mind how they still don't understand that that's bad in the in the like world that they've set up for us. It doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, I guess like the last thing, and a lot of people are probably going to cry about this one, is Lickitung being outclassed by Licky Licky now.
I don't know if I understand that. Can you walk me through that one?
Yeah, so obviously like Lickitung was considered like really, really good because it can use Lick, get the body slam, and just like shell out 60 power.
Sure.
And now I was looking at like some of the rankings on PvPoke because you can preview them for next season. Licky Licky is ranked higher than Lickitung now. With like rollout, body slam, I think Earthquake is like the preferred moveset. So now it's kind of like, okay, so you're trading bulk with Lickitung for power with Licky Licky. And I think it's just because like rollout generates more energy than Lick. You still get the body slam faster.
So it's an issue of, well, rollout is also getting buffed. So it's
just power wise.
It's a little, but if you combine that, then it makes it more worthwhile anyway, right? Like,
yeah.
And that was kind of more my, like, where my not understanding was coming from. I was like, I don't know where the trade-off is. Like, it's like, yeah, the body slam is worse. Is it is it gonna be worse than Stomp now? Like, is it maybe not even like you need to elite TM it?
That's honestly a question that we're gonna have to figure out next season.
So because, when we have like all of our info actually,
because on PV Poke, Lickitung still prefers Lick Body Slam Power Whip, and then Licky Licky prefers Body Slam Shadow Ball.
Okay.
With rollout, so
yeah, so it sounds like it's the rollout is kind of the big thing, right?
Mm-hmm. It does pick up key wins with like Trevenant, Talonflame, Feraligatr, Chargebug, Mandibuzz. So we'll see. Honestly, we'll see what happens next season.
I guess Mandy is the one on that list.
It's close. It's like a 567, so like it can go either way.
Yeah,
but like,
I mentioned it because that's like a known Licky answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just the fact that that's getting switched up.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to look out for. So, and it's no longer a counter meta because, yeah, it's now a Shadow Claw meta / Wigglytuff meta, but not Wigglytuff because Swift is getting a buff. So everyone will run Swift and either Icy Wind or Disarming. Probably Icy Wind more often than not.
The one added nerfed fast move like also feels strange. Like, here you go, Ledian, now that it's worse.
Someone at Niantic had to have that button like on it, like, okay, we're gonna give it, and then they're just like, we're gonna troll the whole community. Watch this.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the that's the PvP update. Have your fun with it. Insert Flygon not getting Breaking Swipe again, but I can't do that right now because we got a show to do. We got meta usage.
This is, but just to slightly piggyback on that, this is the first time in a while that Flygon hasn't gotten something from a move update.
It needs something good.
They keep trying. They keep trying to give it stuff.
Well, see, okay, so here's a cope, and I'm gonna do some big brain here. Mudshot gets nerfed, so technically Flygon did get nerfed, so it's gonna run Dragon Tail. The number one and number 2 Pokemon is Clodsire and Carbink next season. They're both weak to ground moves. Do you know what is a ground type? Flygon. So time to do some big brain. We're not going to talk about Gastrodon. I know it's probably going to be better in every way, but don't count my boy Flygon out.
it did also take a nerf, right? Like, its spam move was Body Slam, so.
Correct. But also, Mud Slap is getting an increase in energy generating, so you can get to the spammy move faster, which still does the job a little bit. Or maybe Earth Power Water Pulse is a play.
Water Pulse.
I feel like I unlocked a core memory.
It's like, it's only halfway decent because it has stab. like as a coverage move on like non-water Pokemon, it's just like, why?
Yeah. Move over, Mud Boys. Gastrodon's here to stay. You all laughed at it when it didn't get Mudshot. Well, now who's laughing?
I also feel bad for all the Pokemon who've been enjoying Surf.
Yeah. you gotta hit that lantern somehow. But it'll probably be, 7. I think it's like 7 sparks to a Thunderbolts. If I'm not,
Well, the one I'm
if I'm
thinking of in like Battle Tower meta is Lapras for Polaris, especially where
yeah, I didn't think about that.
you're getting a whole lot less spammy since that's its only option under 50 energy.
Yeah, you're right. Oh shoot.
I mean, maybe it's only going to be 5 more energy for 10 more power. Like that could still be good, but I doubt it. But I bet it's 10 for 10.
Yeah, they'll probably do Surf 55 energy, which is the same as Thunderbolt.
They'll do the 1-to-1 gain, which, as I said earlier, is not good for us.
But then you have to, figure out, is Lantern throwing Surf or Thunderbolt? Mom, come pick me up. I'm scared.
It starts to feel a lot more like old Lantern when it was much more of a niche pick because it was Thunderbolt was the bait move, right? Because it was Thunderbolt Hydro Pump.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot about old Lantern.
Yeah, Trip Down Memory Lane aside, Trip Down Memory Lane is definitely gay. Oh goodness, I remember when Lantern was bad, and now it's there.
I played Lantern in Season 1 Regionals of Sylph.
All right, Grandpa, look.
I was not Charge Beam and Thunder.
I was not cool enough to get a regional invite, but I was cool enough to host Season 1 of Sylph Regional, so I'll take that.
You were busy hosting. That's the story.
Yeah, we had someone from Alaska show up, and then they announced Lapras Raid Day, and they backed out. I was like, all right.
Priorities.
No skin off my bone. I mean, at the time we didn't have Elite TM, so it made sense.
Yeah, you had one shot, one opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Meta usage. Oh shoot. Here we go. Meta usage. It looks condensed because, of course, it is.
I was like, I don't think anyone can read that.
Probably not. I really tried to get it to fit, but
this is what it looks like. You should go check out the actual link.
Yeah.
If you're interested.
If only Logistics or Greg or whoever's doing the Battle Frontier website will let us, like, if you search it up, you can check it from the website and not go directly to Cycle 2. It was a process. Like, it was a big process.
I never had that problem.
I had that problem.
I detected that.
And even then, I could have condensed. I should have condensed it a little bit more because, like, you don't see the little pretty arrows go up and down from week 2. But okay, starting from.
Yeah, you get an impression that there should be something there.
Okay, starting from Great League, we're gonna go that way,
Yeah.
So from week 1 to week 2, we had Skeledirge, Stunfisk, Goodra, Cresselia, Guzzlord last week. This week we have Skeledirge, Stunfisk, Goodra, Clodsire, Superior. Skeledirge is still the number 1 Pokemon despite taking a 10% drop in usage. So, I'm also going to guess that Stunfisk is the Unnovan Stunfisk, not the Galarian.
I'm pretty sure it specifies.
Yeah, but you know me, sometimes I have the reading comprehension skills of a potato. Yep, there it is. Galarian Stunfisk at the very bottom at 0.85. We had this conversation last week.
It's probably a points issue, right?
Yeah. It's just outclassed by other things, points-wise.
I always forget to go back to that meta thing with all the numbers.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, it's a 4-point pick, and it seems like there's a lot of agreement that it's not pulling the weight.
It doesn't. Well, when you're, as a Mudshot user, you're also competing with Clodsire and Swampert, and then you're also competing against the other 4-point picks like Feraligatr, Dugong, Giratina, Sableye. They're just a little more flexible, per se.
Yeah. It's It's also just looking worse for Stunfisk.
Yep. But I'll tell you what, these are going to change in 2 weeks when we have. Okay, why do we have the season start on a Tuesday on September the 3rd? That don't make sense. It don't make sense. And we can't take a break.
As I recall, it's like a full number of weeks from when they had to start the season, right? Like there was a regional event they had to wait until it was done to start this season, this current season, and so like it skewed everything going forward.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so with that, and it looks like the only like Pokemon that had a rise in usage was Clodsire Superior and Charjabug from week to week.
Yep.
And Jellicent's slowly making a push. It's sitting there at like 16%, and then last week it was at 10% usage. So it's going up, and we'll definitely see what happens in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't see any huge changes below that.
Same. Yeah, no.
Kind of similar across.
Yeah. All right, so that's Great League. Ultra League. We have Skeletor sitting at about the same amount of usage. Poliwrath takes a 5% drop in usage, but still is number 2. Ampharos moves up because no one else wanted to use Trevenant. Trevenant was at 20%, and now it's sitting at 12%, so that definitely is the biggest drop in the top 10.
Apparently it didn't go well.
Then you got Guzzlord at number 4 with a slight increase of about 3% usage, and then Clefable at 15%, 15.83, and it was 50% last week. 15.38. Pardon my dyslexia. So it had a slight usage, but so far remained the same. But seeing we've got Clefable and Galarian Weezing, I'm surprised that Poliwrath and Guzzlord are sticking around as much as they are, and Skeletor for that matter, because of Brutal Swing from Galarian Weezing.
I mean, I think it's just one of those triangles. It's like as long as you have that confluence of usefulness and point value, then tends to stay pretty stable.
Okay, that does make sense. And Trevenant just falling hard. In this meta, it's gonna fall hard with it struggles with Skeledirge. I don't really know the Ultra League matchup against Poliwrath, but I'm pretty sure it still wins decently.
Yeah, and I think more than anything, it's just like a pacing issue, because it's like every second move you can get the CMP.
Okay, and then Ampharos. Ampharos has Brutal Swing. Come on, you're gonna. I
think Trev is still decent there.
Okay. And then, of course,
Guzzlord makes you just get outpaced is the problem.
Yeah. And then Guzzlord makes it cry for its mommy. Galarian Weezing, same thing. And Clefable is really bulky in the Ultra League, right? Like, you need a near maxed out one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, and you can it depends when you made your Clefable, right? Like, you could have the hundo and just have a surprising amount of attack, or have the full bulk version.
Yeah. Aside from that, there's one Pokemon I'm a little surprised hasn't been raised or hasn't gotten a lot of more usage, and that's Shadow Drapion. Just because we kind of seen, when it comes to Ultra League, Ultra League specialists love running Shadow Drapion, but the data here tells me that not so much.
Well, it's exactly the same, right? Like it's chilling at 12%.
Yeah, I'm trying to see where it is on the chart over here. I can't find it.
Like as far as the point value?
Yeah.
It's a 1 point pick, so like you could be right. It could be a mon that could move up.
I guess the 1 point pick that everyone likes to use is that Ampharos, which does make sense.
Well, and it's just one of those things, right, where we're used to seeing the 1 point picks kind of filter to the top, especially if they have decent look at the rest of the meta. Like you look at Skeletor to the top especially, and then Polyrath is a little problematic, right? Like you don't love that if you need Aquatail for something because you want crunch.
Yeah. And then especially like, looking at Polyrath, just Dynamic Punch, Power Punch, Icy Wind, Scald. Do I have to continue? Should I continue?
Yeah, it's like I'm just gonna agree with you. I think it's probably gonna move up, unless it's not doing its job well. I guess is kind of the question mark piece is. Does it not work as a safe swap like it used to, or just like in this setup?
That makes sense. Yeah. All right. So, Master League.
We have a new king.
We do, and it's the angriest monkey alive, Annihilate. Ironically enough, when I read Annihilate's Pokedex entry in Scarlet and Violet, I just think to myself, this Primeape got so angry, it died and decided to become everyone's problem. And it's a problem. It's everyone's problem in every single league. Well, maybe not Ultra, but even in like Scarlet and Violet.
It's only not in Ultra, at least in Battle Tower, because it's a 6-point pick for Ultra League.
Yeah. But if it wasn't, it would be everyone's problem.
Yeah. I mean, that's not to say it's not also a 6-point pick in Open Great League, but I just mean like, yeah, that's a way to limit the usage, I think.
Yeah. All right, Open Master. Yeah, like I said, so with Open Master League, Annihilate rockets up to the top, and I don't mean that. Well, yeah, I don't mean that as a exaggerating bit. It literally shot up 10% usage and is now the new number 1. Tapu Bulu took a slight tumble from, it's a 3% tumble, so it's not as significant. Sui and Avalugg dropped 6%, and we basically Annihilate went up, and Annihilate and Hisui and Avalugg just switched places. They said, "Nah, your turn." Primarina jumped up 5%. And then we've got Florges. Gudra is now the new quote-unquote Dragon-type user, with Gyarados absolutely falling 10%. 25 to 15. That's shocking. I guess, Gyarados being a 1-point pick really...
Yeah, that's
really hurt it.
Okay, I need to trade out coverage, and Gyarados is redundant compared to one of the other 1-pointers.
Yeah, it's sitting there with Dragonite, Florges. Hey, there it is. Dragonite, Florges, Genesect, Heatran, Rayquaza, Yveltal, Mew, Melmetal. It's got some pretty stiff competition for that 1-point slot. Assuming that you're not like picking a triple S tier pick or a double S tier pick.
Well,
Also,
and you have, what is that, 1, 2, 3 water types? Well, I'm calling Goodra water type in this example, all moving up as it's moving down. So that to me is the kind of handshake exchange of usage, right?
well, Goodra is also a 0-point pick, and it essentially does the job that Gyarados does, but a little bit better because it can beat Gyarados with Thunder Punch.
And and Primarina's kind of in the same spot, right?
Yeah, Primarina's another 0-point pick, probably until the end of the month. When, not to beat a dead horse, who knows what happens when, when Sparkling Area hits the fray. If it's a fairy move, all bets are off. If it's a water move, a little bit better. So, I do want to take this opportunity to look at Mega Aggron as like the number 1 Mega, still chilling at about 11% usage. I just wanted to shout it out.
Yeah.
It looks like it probably is the best B tier pick from like everything that's there for right now, which is pretty neat. So I think the only reason why it's not seeing more usage is because people are still to try out the triple S tier picks.
Yeah, what's the highest for triple S or double S? Is that?
I'm looking at triple S. I'm trying to find it. Mega Swampert, there it is, at 9.4%.
Yeah, all the points on the Swampert. And I mean, that is also another reason not to run Gyarados, right? Because you can't.
You can't. No, you just can't. I'm not seeing Mega Gardevoir on this list, and I'm a little scared if I'm missing it. Oh, there it is. It's sitting at 4%. So about the same usage. There are some Guardy lovers in the chat.
Well, Charizard is there too, where it's...
But Mega Charizard, why is it double S tier? But yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So, with that, Open Master League is going to shape up to be a very interesting one this year. Or this battle, actually, for the next, 15 weeks? We got 7.
There are some relevant changes coming to Master League as well.
Yeah. And as TNK Hornet gave us a very nice in-depth location or explanation to like what Master League is going on. He kind of put, if you want to play around Team Builder, you will pretty much always be told to add Avalugg or Bulu to the teams. And if you try to ignore it, you kind of get to the spot where you have to bring it for the coverage. So maybe this was the battle. Maybe this was the Master League developers' plan all along to make Bulu and Hisuian Avalugg meta relevant. Or I could just be completely wrong, and I'm spouting. I'm just spouting conspiracy theories. Past the time.
They do have clean wins that they're good at, but it's one of those things, right? Like the lower point picks are there in general just because they have less stat product, so they do worse in neutral.
You are absolutely correct. All right, looking at Polaris Cup.
Yeah, let's see what happened there.
All right, so Polaris Cup, Polaris Domain, Polaris Field. We'll come up with the naming conventions eventually. So we have a changing of the guard, basically number 1. Frostlass was at 58%, jumped up to 64%. Tyrant jumped up to 60%. Ariados stayed the same. We had a 3% increase. Lapras fell a tad bit, but is still holding on to that number 4 spot. And then Samurott stayed the same, around the same. And then the Cradily is slowly rising the ranks. And then Shadow Snorlax basically told the Dane, this is my spot now. So here we see, the top Pokemon not really changing too much. They're the same, just in like different spots. And of course, Polaris, Frostlass. You know what happens with the Frostlass meta. However, I do want to give a special shout out to Axe, who played. I think. I forgot. I don't remember if he played Samurott or Frostlass this week. I gotta look at the tape.
Well, while you're looking back, I will say we do now have a new King of Polaris with Frostlass moving up as much as it did, where the combined usage of Snorlax and Shadow Snorlax is now putting it at 2nd overall. So
you are correct.
Frost is the queen.
I hate to agree with you, but I'm going to agree with you begrudgingly this time. I know Satiri and
it's
AJ
just math.
Probably...
It's just math.
I know Satiri and AJ are probably like, take that, Taco. I am Frostlass's greatest heel. Anyway, so Axe actually did put on a clinic for him battling with the Frostlass, which I found out, it's basically a game of, does Samurott get the energy lead or does Frostlass get the energy lead? And every single win that he took, minus the dispute, we're not counting that because he still won. Minus that, he always ended up getting like a 2 or 3 Frostlass lead before Samurott hit the field, and by the time the opponent realized it, it was too late. That he would just, perfect baits essentially with, Avalanche, they'd shield, or there was nothing left, so he'd be like, you get a Shadow Ball, and you get a Shadow Ball, and everyone gets a Shadow Ball. I'm glad we have that footage saved so I know how to play Frostlass a little bit better.
Well, and it's one of those things where it happens really quickly, like you were saying, where you really only need the 1 or 2 advantage, and things can just kind of
snowball. No pun intended. Actually, no, pun was definitely intended.
we might have led you to that pun.
The pun was definitely intended. So,
I guess the question I have is, like, apart from Lapras, sort of, like, where are the Frostlass counters? It's like your own Frostlass, I guess, is part of the answer.
Kind of on that vein, you see there's Drapion kind of taking usage going up a little bit. I don't know if you would count Zweilous as a good Frostlass quote-unquote counter.
Well, I more mean even just in the top portion of the meta, right? Like, it's odd to have like one Pokemon kind of unchecked in the top usage, like where there's a very strong lean towards like not just having Frostlass on your team, but actually running it, because there's not the normal kind of like, oh, here's your top 3 that all kind of beat each other, and then like 3 other Pokemon who kind of fit into that triangle as well.
Mm-hmm.
With Frostlass up there, it's like, yeah, like Tyrant, I think, wins the ones just because you pace the same and you win CMP.
It's still weird.
But yeah, it's a weird, like, fundamentally it's weird to have the dragon be the ice counter. So like that, I mean, that one has interplay, I guess. But Ariados specifically being in number 3, no, it can't hit it at like if you land a Megahorn, it'll still do damage, but you can't count on that being a process answer. And that's kind of why I'm looking at the water types, where it doesn't feel clean, but especially when both of their fast moves are resisted, and then there's the Credilli, which it's like if you can land a rock move, it counts.
Yeah, but you know as well as I do, if Cradily is staying in on a Frostlass, they're going for Rock Slide, so you can safely shield that up.
Well, yeah, so it's kind of you have to map out your entire game plan to a place where you either are just after the shields or you've cleared the way so you can actually get away with hitting it with the rock move eventually.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then yeah, same goes for Snorlax, right? Where yes, the lick damage is crazy, but if you're running your normal charge moves, you also are in a weird spot for hitting the ghosts.
Yeah, that is true, and you know I know most Snorlaxes will run Superpower Body Slam. I wonder if that's going to be the case after the Body Slam nerf. Maybe you'll go Heavy Slam. It's
still like that's another one of the weird things with Body Slam just doing less damage. Is it's not like most of the Pokemon who run it have an alternative for their bait move that they would rather use. So they'll just be slightly less oppressive on their charge moves.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah, too. Will anybody stop Frostlass? Find out in the next episode of Enter the Dragonair's Den, week number 3.
Well, and maybe that's just the point I'm getting at is that in what feels like self-throwback fashion, that it's just a lot like it feels geared towards a lot of Frostlass duels. It's just like, okay, who's gonna win the coin flips of calling the baits correctly?
Yeah, thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like who has put in the work and knows like, okay, now it's actually low enough that I can just throw the avalanche and that's fine. Like I don't even have to hurt my brain.
I still hate it. That's all I'm gonna say. I still hate it.
And then there's people like me who are also looking at their stash of Frostlass like, do I want to absolutely every time win CMP, or do I want to like have a little more bulk for the other matchups?
And then you have me that has one Frostlass built.
That's insane.
I will only if there's a Pokemon that I absolutely need but I hate, I will build one. Never touch it again.
Well, until your need is great enough, I guess.
Look, I need another 4 Dragonairs built before I touch another Frostlass. How about that?
Fair.
And I still have to finish building my Shadow Dragonite. I hate my life.
Hey, I'll be right there with you now.
Oh yeah, it's true. We can be buddies.
I was so stoked on that. But we should talk about Wasteland. We should so we can actually do real scores this time.
All right, so Wasteland this week. You know, this is now. You know, I'm gonna say it. Forget what Zavelro said about Berserker. This is now the Melmetal show because a whopping 4 out of 5 trainers recommend using Melmetal on their Wasteland teams. It's up to 83% usage.
This is like a toothpaste commercial.
Yeah. Okay, fine. 5 out of 6 trainers say use Melmetal. 5 out of 6 dentists. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know,
and yeah, the coverage is just too good.
Yeah, Superpower, Rock Slide.
This is, I mean, it's another one at the top of the list though of Pokemon that kind of have a question mark though going into next season because it has that usage almost entirely because of Rock Slide.
You are correct. Because it hits basically everything in the meta with its charge moves. For neutral, better. and it's a steel type, which is probably the best defensive type in the game, normally speaking.
I was like, what do you mean probably?
Well, because sometimes sometimes it can be a toss up between fairy type or steel type.
Okay.
So it's like, depending on the meta or the usage in this case, is steel type the better one or is fairy the better one? Next year or next season, I will probably go on a limb and say steel type will be the better type over fairy. It's a bold prediction because the number 1 Pokemon is Clodsire, and the number 2 Pokemon is a fairy type in Carping. But yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sits in the middle, right?
Yeah, so
it'll be interesting to see if we have more players move towards like a double Iron Bash Melmetal.
Oh, I gotta get another Elite TM. But
hopefully you just have one in your bank to dust off and not think too hard about.
I mean, I got 4. I've been slacking.
Yeah.
So going back to this chart, Ampharos rockets up to be the best electric type in the meta. It was at 50. No, it was at about 52% usage. Now it's at 62. Coolfish went up, but here in this meta, Frostlass is trash because it fell from it fell from 52% down to 43%. So about almost a 10% drop.
I mean, this one's relevant for me because I was one of the people who went from running it last week to not running it this week.
And you see, we can only have Frostlass can only be good in one meta at a time. Okay, this time it's Polaris. Now I'm gonna focus all of my time and effort on Wasteland, so I don't have to play with Frostlass.
Well,
sure enough, I come off the bench and I'm gonna see a Frostlass on this side and go start yeeting things out the window.
Yeah. Well, and just like as a kind of fair warning thing, to any Pangoro enjoyers, this is probably the best place to throw this in here, that if you want to use it, you should use it in the next couple weeks because it'll be out at Wasteland most likely.
Oh yeah, you're right. Well,
and then we'll see. We'll also see about Ledian, right? Like
Ledian will stay.
Depending. Well, the one reason I say that is because the way that they described the meta is that everything with counter was banned. So it would fall under that blanket. It could, like, they could still airdrop it or whatever, but we'll see.
Fair. Okay, and now I see what you mean.
Yeah.
To the 3% of people who are still running Mightyena, I am proud of you.
Yeah. I guess the one other similar one, because it's right under Frostlass, is Furret, where it got hit with that dig nerf, and I feel this way a little bit with Nidorina as well, where it's like kind of hurts my soul after just building it, but it's whatever.
Well, I mean, if it makes you feel better, there was somebody in a Discord that said, guys, counter's getting nerfed, and I just caught this, and it was the rank 1 Great League Annihilate.
Like, so, it's not like it'll be unusable.
I'm just gonna. It was rank 3 this season. It's gonna be ranked in the 140s next season. You're right. It's not gonna be unusable. It's just not gonna be as good.
Yeah. And that one is one that takes some planning to evolve too. So like I feel that aspect of it where it's not like you can throw it in immediately unless you get a buddy on to burn through the battles.
Yeah, do what I did. I just sat, pressed rematch, 10 CP ghost types. Fun.
Yeah.
All right. So we breezed through Wasteland. Or yeah, we basically breezed through the Wasteland. Berserker is just falling. It's at 28% this week. It was at 38% last week. Like,
yeah, and like we said with Melmetal,
with that giant question mark.
I suspect that that's going to balance out more than it has. I think the biggest takeaway from this is that more people decided they were all going to run one steel type instead of two.
I think, well, they can still run Caesar too, if they wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they should. It is an option based on the data.
And like, again, there are so many of these Pokemon where this is just the meta for them, where you can kind of get away with it because they're in the pool with a lot of other similar mons as far as how their stat product affects their normal usage.
Yeah, that is fair. Now, battle staff, if like you're gonna airdrop people in the middle, might I suggest, just add him. Let him have his time. Please. Bring Flagon back.
Oh, I was like, who are we talking about?
I had Flagon up, like, I have a suggestion, you see here, best ground type ever made, peak design.
Yeah, there's not going to be ground types.
I know. A taco can dream.
Yeah, like it would be a bit too much of a feast.
Yeah, it would. All let one charmer through, I guess.
I mean, like there's already counterplay a little bit with just like with how high Frostlass is on the list, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, meta usage. Let's put that away. And now
All done meta.
Yeah, and now we can finally talk about scores. Where are you? Here you are. Yeah, look at that. I did it.
Dude, did we have any additional removed teams going between the weeks?
I don't remember the number from last time. Was it 3? No, it was 2. There was a third team that was removed. I don't remember which.
Just a plus one on that list.
Yeah,
I guess.
Definitely. All right, so well, these are the scores of Tower A. I'm not going to list all of them because, yeah, they're there. There's a lot of teams, and this is the smaller of the towers. This is Tower A. Nerdy Birds are still doing Nerdy Birds things. They lost a backstage last week and then rebounded against Belfast.
Do you want me to read out our top 5 for Tower A?
Do it.
Okay, we have Sky Dragons Gaming with 35 points. Canadian Shieldon, 29. Backstage Battlers, 27. Texas PvP, also 27. And Ash's Dynasty Elite tied with Cool Cats at 26.
Nice.
And those are all 2-0 teams.
What was Ash's Dynasty Elite?
Yeah.
Is it? No, I was like Ash's Dynasty. I feel
I'll take my.
Go on. What are you taking?
I'm gonna take my shout out privileges and just add one extra because our buddies at PvPvP are at 2-0 as well with 25.
They beat Lucky Mucks. Holy smokes!
Something happened.
Good job, Gortakum. I think I was like, I'm gonna butcher that name, and I had put like, that was a swing and a miss.
I feel like you do it on purpose.
No, that time it was a mistake.
I think you just get so used to saying it wrong on purpose that becomes like the thing that you say.
One time I accidentally said Gligar instead of Gligar.
How dare you?
Now every time I see Gligar, I have to stop and say it's Gligar, not Gligar, you stupid taco. and then it makes me remember. There was only one sweep in this whole match, and it was Ali. It was Ali versus Ace Slider. Everyone else is just 2-1, 2-1, 2-1. If anyone on the PvP team or Lucky Mugs wants to like give me or tell us what happened, we want to know, because like that, if we weren't strapped for time, we would do a deep dive on this matchup. But Pioneer Valley, you all are punching above your weight class, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it looks like it was just a close match. It actually looks a lot like our match went. So
yeah, this week they have Canadian Shield on. Just this once, Pioneer Valley PvP, I'm rooting for you. Just this once.
Yeah, are we doing previews? Is that what...
I didn't put it on the little pretty picture, but we can do that. We have.
Well, I mean, it's mostly the teams that I just said. So
yeah, they're all playing each other. I'll figure it out.
I mean, that's probably a good way just to play it off, right?
Yeah, we got Sky Dragons going up against Ashes, Canadian Shield on against Pioneer, Texas PvP against Cool Cats. By the way, Texas PvP players, they're super nice. I met them when I was down in San Antonio. I met 2 of them, and my goodness, they were so cool.
I've gotten to play against a few of them. They're good.
I was only able to beat one of them, but that just goes to show you how stacked that pretty much that team is. So Texas PvP versus Cool Cats is going to be a good one. And then Backstage Battlers gets Home Slice Homies. And yeah, that's the the top. Good luck, teams. Oh look, it switched over to Battle Tower B as soon as I said that.
Nice.
All right, here we go. We have a Cold Love defeating Aztec League. Potentially Wasteful got a bye. Brave Nerds beat Sonic and Soup. Wait a second. No, we're just gonna round off the top 5. Haha. Potentially Wasteful. And then we've got Nexus.
Did they make their opponents quit? That's our new drop, right?
That could be our headcanon. That could be our headcanon. Nexus Sacred Swords Elite they put a massive whooping on us, which I'm a little salty about, but not from that one thing. It's from feeling completely separate with the team, but I'm not going to air my dirty laundry here. I'm just going to say I'm salty. But Salty Taco is not going to make a return for another 2 weeks.
It is summer. It's fair to be salty.
Yeah. Brave Nerds is also 2-0 with 28 points. Basically, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and Fusion Bolt Strikers all have 28 points. 5th is Inferno Overdrive with 26, Northeast Battlers 25, and then Cold Love for the win rounds out the final 7 teams. Which means...
Wait, what?
There's 7 teams that are 2-0.
I see Northeast Battlers.
Yeah, they're number 6. Did I skip them?
Oh no, it's just the order because they're tied. So that was just I was reading down the list with you, and then it was different. So I was like, what? Okay,
gotcha.
So just a sorting thing. Ignore me.
Okay. So this week, essentially, we have basically all of them teams,
plus one.
And then Northeast Battlers gets to play the best 1-1 team, apparently. Which happens to be Aztec League because they just lost a 1 point against Cold Love after winning 19-2. All I'm going to say is, good luck.
Yep. Also, you're good. So I just watched a video that was a retrospective on Star Fox, and your good lucks are making me laugh because like that was their transition soundbite.
I love it. But this is going on YouTube, so like, what if that person copyright strikes my video for that transition? I hope not. That'd be really petty.
They would get copyright struck.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're in this tier. We lost 16-5. It was a rough week for the D Knight team, but we're gonna come back stronger than ever. Believe it.
This is the way.
But I also like to prioritize. My cope is I like to prioritize. Players playing over. Not over winning, but So if there's a player that wants to play, I'll sit on the bench for them. All right, so that was Tower B.
C Tower.
Moving on to Tower C. There we go. All right, I manually did this one. So in Tower C, we've got, again, 7 teams undefeated. Pogoats in first with 33. Phantom Claws Elite with 31. There's a lot of teams with the last name Elite.
Your visual is for D right now.
Oh. Did I not? I did not. This is embarrassing. Did I not,
We skipped it?
Did I? I did. I copied C and D at the same time.
Sorry, Team Beginner, Winner, and others.
Yeah, sorry guys. C is the black sheep tonight.
Yeah. All right, but yeah.
Well, actually, Jet, you can read off the top, and I'm just gonna do a quick little edit in real time.
Sure. Surprising no one. Pogoats at the top with 33. Phantom Claws Elite 31. Thunder Road 28. Snowbirds and OPDC at 27. What is OPDC? Let's look at their thing. Nope, that doesn't help me.
I did it.
Let's see if there's any.
I did it.
Well done. Any big scores from this week?
It looks like 16 Utter Madness versus Bait Makers was
I do see a score that adds to 20. I see a couple scores that add to 20.
Yep. This was, I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, this week C tier was probably the
C Tower.
C Tower was probably there was a lot of coordination disputes. I get it. Yeah, there was a lot of coordination disputes, and because of worlds and stuff, some battles just didn't get completed. But there was a lot that happened to be for this tier.
Gotcha.
So it's not get good. It's just stuff happens. So
it is one of the few towers that has yet to have a team removed.
I know.
I think maybe they're the only one.
I do want to give a special shout out to the Queen Bees. They beat Wicked Weeviles 11-10 last week, and then they had SoCal Swablu Coastal, and unfortunately fell 14-7. And we got to shout out fellow hosts Hurricane Kaz and Reviving Ophelia. Y'all are doing good work. I believe in you. And
yeah,
unfortunately,
looks like Wicked Weeviles had a tough week as well.
Yeah. And then TNT Fingals, they're doing good, so it's time to talk about them, to jinx them for next week. They are playing against the Collective. All right, so you guys are gonna do super awesome. I totally believe in you. All right, that's all I got. So.
We're just making things difficult for them.
The next week, Pogoats gets Thunder Road, which is, Thunder Road is the Thunder Ducks and Thunder Dome. They did the fusion dance, and now they're the Thunder Road. Phantom Claws gets OPDC, Snowbirds and Decidueye Dynasty, and then Gorilla Garbodors versus NEB Utter Madness. Yeah,
Cool.
It looks like Gorilla Gardevoirs was the odd team out this week. All right, Battle Tower D for Dinair. This week, in terms of 2-0 teams, we have Nexus Fusion Flares Elite, SoCal Swablu San Diego. 32 points, 28 points respectively. Tinker Trotters with 28, Raging Rayquazas with 25, Doggy Academy with 24, Chicago Stars 24, and London's Finest 24. Once again, 7 teams that are undefeated. I hate it.
Well, yeah, and so our +1 is 2-sided 2 soup. Or did they also have 2 wins? But they had a tie.
Yeah, they had a tie. Because of course they did.
Everyone's favorite.
So technically, if we want to be, picky, there's 9 undefeated teams because they have no losses, with Cordoba's Ravens and 2-sided soup. Golly.
So Wing Attack is technically the +1 team, I guess.
Yeah. Come on, Riblet. Get it together.
After the 0.5. Oh, God.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun. So, that happens. Oh, Lord. What are we going to do with this one? I do want to give a special shout out to y'all. Taking down Hoosier Daddies, a champion tier team, 11-10.
Yeah, we had a nice close week. It was fun.
Yeah, it looked like it because there was a dispute of some sort that was handled.
Well,
and then I got tagged, and then I got tagged when I shouldn't have been tagged. And then I just saw the announcement in the dispute announcements, and I was like, what happened? And then I read it, and I was like, okay, cool beans.
Yeah, well, and for me, it was just a learning experience to see how the def win stuff gets handled, because I had no idea. and so I'm extra thankful that it was a whole thing with ZT Smith, because I felt very comfortable just asking him questions. It was more than I cared about the score, I wanted to see how the process went. Whereas it was a close call, and I appreciate just getting to learn how all that works.
Gotcha. I do gotta ask this question: after 2 weeks under your belt as captain, how do you feel?
I took a drink right then. I feel extra glad to have Donut doing good portion of captaining, especially as I said, with the messiness, with having one of my best friends move on ahead of me. So it was it's been good not to have to worry about every little detail, and to just have more hands. And then in general, it's been nice to have a veteran team there to just do the things they're supposed to do, and not have to overthink it too much. I'm also glad in general that we have Battle Tower, just to kind of work out the dust and the cobwebs and whatever, because for those of us who didn't have playoffs, it was a long time off. And even though for the most part we have players that have been with us for a while, we do have a few new completely to factions. So to be able to have, I don't want to say
new blood.
Well, I more mean just a transition period that is less hopefully less stressful for people compared to the actual cycle, where I know it can be tough when it feels like every point is worth its weight in blood kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, if I know Twastel mentioned this a couple of episodes ago, I think it was 2 episodes in a comment, how the stakes are a little bit higher versus here rather than, you know, in the cycles, because you're fighting for a spot for a Worlds invite. Realistically speaking, though, there are some teams that they have a snowball's chance in the first layer, in Limbo, essentially, to get that invite versus the more like established teams that, you know, maybe were, you know, expert or premier tier. They had a bad playoff run, but now they can try to earn the invite here. Our teams are competitive, and we can take down the best of the best on a good day. And we're also very inconsistent. So I would rather, like me personally with the Dark Knight team, I would rather use this as like a learning experience, because I think we had Binzer Bust, Raider play. We have a whole new Ultra League roster, and then we added G-Meister and Stafford. Yeah, so half of our team is brand new, and is getting reps in, you know, the Battle Frontier. And so I would much rather use the Dark Knight's time in Battle Tower as a learning experience versus, you know, getting wins. Which, you know, they're fun, and, you know, the new players, they love to win. But I also was like, hey, you went 1-2, you went 0-3. How did you feel? How did, like, basically walk me through your experience. And then we would kind of brainstorm after the fact, and I'd be like, hey, totally get it. Let's break down what went wrong. Post your battles.
Well, and maybe more than that, like, you just have, like, greater flexibility is maybe the word I want to choose, just because you don't feel like you're locked into, oh, my whatever player is the best I have for this particular slot, so they have to play every time no matter what. And especially like if you feel that way about your starting 7 players, like I feel like it can be very easy just to be locked in and feel like you can't like stray at all unless someone has an emergency or something and they need to like not play for a week.
Well, it's also like the first question I ask my players is, number 1, how did you feel about this week? Number 2, who needs the week off? And I will try to accommodate. And, you know, some people, they'll completely ignore the first question and they'll say, put me in this week. I didn't have a good week, but put me in this week. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like, hey, can I get a week off? I'm like, I got you. Just
Yep. Well, and that's what the length of the roster is for, is so that it's not a burden. Hopefully, that it just gets to be something fun that you look forward to.
Yeah, I love being able to have everybody essentially has sub that I could use. Where it's like, hey, Master League can't play this week. All right, let's put so-and-so in. Not a huge deal. Oh, but you're ready to come back? Hey, all right, cool. You kept the bench, you kept the seat warm. You did. I was like, you did extremely well. You won. You got us points. How'd you feel? I think I need some more time on the bench to like practice. I was like, all right, cool. Let's switch back on the bench. Starter, you're in. And vice versa. I think the only players that haven't had time on the bench have been, at least for this cycle, have been Rainfall and Bins or Bust. They've been in the starting lineup every week. So we're getting to that point where, you know, everybody's, you know, it's week 3 and everybody's about to have played. Except me, but I don't count me.
Yeah, I mean, between travel or whatever, and then just kind of having the focus on the other players, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, that's my leadership style. And, you know, I mean, you saw last cycle when I had to jump in and I was still getting points, and it's like, oh, Taco gets points. And I was like, yeah, I do. Look at me.
He's so fresh.
Yeah, that's what say. I was like, I come in for the emergency situations, and then I go back to the bench, and I was like, all right, good job, team.
And that's that.
So, with all of that being said, though, each captain has their own leadership style. Some of them want to be on the front lines, claiming glory with the team. Others want to lay back and let the team, have their fun. Cycles come and go. You only get one chance at a first experience with factions, and so I want to give everybody the most positive experience possible. That's my philosophy.
And it's still crazy to me just the mix of teams that we have in the towers and the variability in matchup strength has kind of led to some crazy overall scores where
I think this week we didn't have, like, the highest score we had was 17.
Well, yeah, I more mean even in round 3, like if you're 0-2, there isn't like a guarantee that you're not about to face an expert tier team or higher.
Yeah.
just because like they were maybe against 2 legendary teams in a row, especially since there's all the regions involved as well.
Mm. Yeah, so if you start at 0-2, you can still turn around and finish 5-2. You're probably not going to get a Worlds invite, but let's be real. There are only like a handful of teams that are actively trying to get that Worlds invite.
Well, and more than that, it's an opportunity to play against people you're pretty unlikely to play against for a while.
Yeah. And also
if ever, yeah.
It also shows where you need to go. Need to grow. Maybe your communication skills are lacking and you're constantly getting, you're missing deadlines. Well, you know what you got to do.
And the immediate penalties really compound that, right? Like, it almost makes me wish that that's just how it worked all the time. It's like, if as soon as you make it matter faster, I think you get results faster. But
yeah, that's true. Alrighty, so that is our wrap up and our news this week. It's late at night. We're gonna have to take a very short commercial break.
Yes, a short break.
Yeah. It's totally not going to be 24 hours in advance.
Yeah. 1 day later.
So, good wrap-ups. This was a great first time look at, you can see the scores if you're doing well. And we're going to do this week to week. We're going to do our best to give you the best Battle Frontier experience. Maybe next week we'll have standings because, 3 weeks have passed. That's about the halfway point. And for those of you math people, Taco, 3.5 is half of 7, not 3. You pick something. Hey.
However many weeks it is. But after week 3, you'll be very close to when the Swiss will break anyway. So
yeah, so
you'll get a good idea of who's actually in the running.
Yeah. So we might have standings next week. We might not. The point is, will Taco get his act together? I mean, he can't even get... I was like, I can't even get all the scores perfectly because I forgot Tower C. Sorry,
well,
Tower C.
One thing that will definitely help as far as getting back into some deep dives before we have the full meta shakeup is that, we've already talked about it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so with all that being said, we are going to take a very quick commercial break, but we'll be right back after these messages.
Definitely not goodbye forever.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break, because I know I did.
It was definitely a break.
Yes, it was. I think my beard might have gotten a little longer during that time. It's like
mine didn't.
Dude, I struggle with growing a beard. Like I get when I'll grow and it'll like right here I'll get all like patchy, and then like this part is just a permanent bald spot forever.
I struggle with anything that isn't just shaving it all. So I have zero patience where it's just like, okay, it got itchy, now it has to go.
See that I'm at that point too, but my last razor head broke, so I'm just kind of stuck like this until I get paid on the 10th of September.
Oops.
Well, it's mainly because the new job that
Yeah.
I started like 2 days before the end of the payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna get like paid for 2 days, and I mean, as everybody knows who just starts a new job, you always have like a very minuscule amount of money. So my first real check isn't gonna be until the 10th of September, which is 2 days after my 29th birthday. Yay!
Huzzah.
It's the start of the NFL season, and Iowa versus Iowa State's that weekend too, so it's gonna be a fun time. Okay, where were we? Yes, podcast. So this podcast is powered by our lovely, wonderful, beautiful patrons on Patreon, where you can support the show for as little as $1. No, I did not mess up saying lovely twice this time. Yay! You can support the show for as little as $1, gets you access to the Dragon Egg tier, and the Dragon Egg tier gets you a super secret part of the Discord, as well as episodes at least 24 hours in advance, unless I pull a classic taco move and set the timer for 9 p.m. instead of 9 a.m. Because of course I am. So with
You
that,
mean 9 isn't 9?
you know, 9 is 9.
They don't know which 9 you mean?
12 or 24 hours in advance. That's like the thing we got to go with.
Somewhere in there, depending on AM.
I only did that one time, and I apologized, and then I made up for it the next episode by releasing it 36 hours early. That's the word.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So it kind of balanced out, got to keep that 24-hour mark. Anyway, so at the Dragon Egg tier, we want to thank our lovely patrons. Thanks Obama, ZT Smith, Sotiri, DeFi250, and Staffordshire 12 for their amazing patronage. I send you virtual hugs and hearts all around because y'all are amazing. At the Baby Dragon tier, which is the $5 tier, you can get access to the recording booth chat where you are able to fact check us in real time. I remembered to turn off the permissions that you can speak in there so you don't hijack the podcast, as it was so nicely pointed out by Sotiri many months ago. But at the $5 tier, we do have Reviving Ophelia. These lovely people are so awesome. We love them, and we hope that we can continue to bring y'all amazing podcast bring you I am struggling tonight. We can bring you awesome podcast content. I do not know why I think it was the B. I struggle with saying the letter B.
Oh, I thought there might have been a B.
Actually, when I was dusting off the flags, there was this big old ugly bee thing, and I go, you know what? I'm not gonna hit that, because if it flies and it has a stinger, it's gonna hurt. No,
we don't slap bees. It's not a good plan.
So I ended up taking one of my Crocs and I like smacked it, but I channeled my inner ninja skills, so I killed it. In I folded it in like the fabric, so it didn't really have a good chance to escape. But I got it. I got it. So what was I? Oh yes, Patreon. So if you are unable to support the show via Patreon, all we ask is just give us, if you're on YouTube, like, follow, comment, subscribe. You don't follow people on YouTube, you subscribe to them. I said what I said. As well as if you listen on audio, like Spotify or Apple Podcasts, give us a review and or a rating. It really helps the number go up, and it helps promote this podcast to a whole bunch of other people who are also interested in, Pokemon Go or need something new. We're here.
Yeah.
We also do have a Discord where the link for the invite will be posted down in the show notes and or description down below. Tap on that, read the rules, accept them by tapping the taco emoji, and that will get you access to the entirety of the Discord. And then last but not least, we do have an X or Twitter. We are at Dragonair Den. I just remembered the login, so now I'm able to start posting on it again. Yay! They kicked me out of the tablet. Like, I had my tablet, and apparently if you don't log in after a certain amount of time, it just auto-logs you out. I hate it.
What? Yeah, maybe one of the things that I dislike the most about modern times is just the fact that you need to remember so many logins for things. It's like,
I can honestly understand why companies like NordVPN or ExpressVPN or any basic, password managing company exists, because there's so many passwords and so many logins. You just keep it safe and secure, and you can, open up an app on your phone. It's like, that's my login. Let me use that one. Unless you forget to update it, in which case you're SOL. So
yeah, or like it feels bad to do the whole eggs in one basket thing, but it's just so convenient to do the Google login on everything.
You are absolutely correct. Or, I know some people do it. You're not supposed to, but like you use one password for everything.
That's kind of the same, right? If you're just using the Google ID to do the login, it's kind of like only having one password.
Well, see, that's why you got to make your Google login the most secure password you can think of. And I can share one of my older passwords on Google. I basically punched in an alphanumeric generator with special characters turned on, and I said, make it 14 characters long. And I pressed generate, copied it, punched it in there, and I put it on a sticky note and tried my best to memorize it. I failed every time.
Yes, the sticky note strategy.
I became a boomer that day. But however, safety or online security is, more important, I guess, now than ever, because just recently a big old company somehow got 2.6 billion documents leaked. It also includes every single American social security number. So check your credit reports, y'all.
Yeah, it's not spooky at all.
Yeah. I mean, it's more annoying than anything, because it's like say, oh, you have bad credit. Someone stole your identity. Boo. I mean, you can't really do anything about it. You can cry and waddle. Just, yeah. So online security, definitely something, this is our PSA for the episode.
We weren't looking for one, but now we have it.
Make sure your stuff is secure online. That's all I'm going to say. You don't want people running around, stealing your Pokemon Go account that you possibly, definitely did not spend close to $3,000. And if you lose that Pokemon Go account, it'll be very sad. Or you can just, be a mega content creator, lose your account because, insert video game company's security as a joke, and then they have to go back and admit, oopsie.
Yeah, I don't think I have played anything that they didn't at one point or another say, hey, by the way, all the things got stolen.
At least my RuneScape account is still safe.
That's adorable.
Look, I've got about a lot of coin in there. I'm not going to say the amount because somebody's going to try to get into my RuneScape account. And if they drain my bank, I will not quit the game, but I will come very, very close to quitting the game.
I thought about this recently. Like if anything happened to my Pogo account, I think I would just be done. I think that would be it.
You're gonna come. You're gonna come join my VGC team that I'm starting. You know.
I don't know. I might just have to have like that spiritual journey away from Pokemon completely for a little bit.
All right, Donut, you're the new captain for D-Nair if that happens. It does happen. So, but circling all of this back to Twitter or X, we're at Dragon Den. Follow the show for updates on the episode as well as our teams. Now, I promise I got the login this time, so I will trying to be doing it very quick. Hey, don't forget about us. If you want to follow me on X, I am at TacoDog_8. But be warned, I post a lot of random stuff. Somebody recently called it a schizo episode, and that has never been a more personal attack on me than ever. I like to think NASCAR is cool. Or Formula 1. Formula 1's also a fun one. But random memes
a lot of people seem to enjoy it, so...
Yeah, memes are the best. Speaking of that, so my trainer at work, his name is Kevin. And when he asked Kevin with a K. And he asked, so I gave him my number and he sent me a text and he goes, "Hey, it's Kevin." Without thinking, this is my boss, by the way. Without thinking, I sent him a GIF of SpongeBob when he first meets the jellyfisher Kevin. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Hi, Kevin." Thankfully, he had a great sense of humor. But it's not what you want,
Patrick.
That's what he said back.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. Oh, my heart stopped for a split second when I did that.
You just went on autopilot.
Whenever somebody texts me,
I don't know if you got my reference, but for me, the response to Kevin is related to the movie Up, where Russell has his revelation, where it's like, Kevin's a girl.
I have not seen Up in a very long time. I think I want to rewatch it. Just on someone else's Disney Plus account. So if I go to Disneyland and bad things happen, they can't weasel their way out. I still can't believe that's a thing.
What?
So there was a man that signed up for a trial of Disney Plus, and then he lost the game. Cry harder, millennials. He lost the game of life, and when the family decided to go after him for wrongful death or negligence, they said one of the defenses they're using is he signed up for a trial of Disney Plus, so therefore he waived his right to sue us. It's a whole thing. And I absolutely do not like the fact that...
Oh, so, he was then... Well, no one was then able to, stop the charges? Is that what this is about?
The company said... the family's trying to, sue Disney because of negligence or whatever. And the guys, the Disney lawyers said, well, he signed up for a trial of Disney Plus. He and the family waived their right to sue us. And I cannot believe that's a defense that they're trying.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
I feel that way about most of the legalese that happens. Is just okay, you say that, but I don't think that will actually protect you. You can say whatever you want in your do you agree terms of service thing, but it doesn't actually provide you all those protections if it's not legal to do so.
The one I keep remembering is and it's weird when there was the man that sued for false advertisement, because it's if you collect enough points you can win a fighter jet, and he got enough points, and I think it was Pepsi didn't want to give him the fighter jet.
Well, of course not.
And so he sued for false advertising, I think it was, and he didn't win. They settled before it went to verdict, and he still got
that's winning. Yeah,
300.
No,
yeah. They made him pay, but a fighter jet back then was like what, 30-40 million dollars? No, F-22s are 100 million, adjusted for inflation. Let's go with a clean 30 million, and he settled for 300 something thousand. That's still a win, 10%, but that's a win.
Yeah, well, and especially when you have no idea what they're going to kind of arbitrarily decide at the end.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I'm going to circle it back. We are now going to get to our community engagement section. So we had the PvP movement, the PvP update in the first part of the episode. Now we're going to turn it over to y'all, the community, and we want to know, what are your first impressions of the PvP update? And the reason why I won't say the move update is because a lot of people are going to be focused on that. That is okay. My focus is squarely going to be on the 50-second move timer. It would have really helped me in my league challenge tonight.
I'm still going to be pouring one out for all of the homies that they are just massacring as they try to target specific Pokemon.
Yep. Actually, during Mankey Spotlight Hour, I did catch a rank 1 Annihilate for Great League, but it's useless now. So.
Not useless.
Sorry, it's serviceable, but it's not going to be as dominant as it was beforehand.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I'm getting at. So, we want to know, community members, what are your first impressions of the PvP update for next season? You can answer us in the comment section. Just remember, be nice. You can answer us in our Discord, in the weekly questions answer, where we already got an answer within 5 minutes of posting it. We will cover that next episode.
Next week.
Yeah. As well as you can tweet at the show, at DragonNerdDen with your answer. You can DM the answer. It may show up in the message requests that I will look at every once in a while. Sorry if you've been messaging there. Haven't. I just got the login 10 hours ago.
I mean, if they did, we could have a pretty hilarious catch-up segment. just guessing what they're responding to.
Right. Okay, so with that, now time for our Play Pokemon segment.
I got an Ultra Friend.
Yay! So firstly, we want to congratulate Yakai for becoming the new World Champion and the first APAC World Champion. So now we have North America World Champion, we have an APAC. So LATAM and EU, you know what you are going to fight for these next two worlds that are happening. Here's the problem. It's in North America, so...
Anyone that didn't watch his run, it was dominant. He didn't drop a set, so...
Did he just 2-0 the entire time?
It's impressive. No, it wasn't that clean, but pretty close. Where it was one of the faster grand finals I think we've ever had, where pretty sure the last 2 years it went the full 2 sets. It went 10 games, right? And this one went, well, I won't spoil it if you didn't watch it, but it was much shorter.
Fair, okay. The main reason why I didn't get a chance to watch it, and I was very sad because I was in the middle of Community Day when it had just started. I go, I care about the World Finals, but I really want enough candy to max out my 98 Metagross and my Shadow 96 Metagross. So, watching, playing.
Yeah. Well, and you can always watch, so it's an opportunity thing.
Yeah, I wanted to touch grass, so I chose touching grass by playing in a concrete jungle. So, with that being said, like I said, congrats, new world champion. There were honestly way too many upsets to count. I was surprised that, heavy hitters like It's Accent didn't even make it to day 2. The the North America region itself had like a bunch of representation last year. This year they were the second most. I think they were down to 5 by the start of day 2. And like 2 of them had to fight against each other, which was an NA on NA violence. So
it does limit the number moving forward if you have to eliminate each other.
Yeah. And of course, you know, we did cheer on our friends and teammates. Zimmy Kid, I don't care what anyone says, just making it to Worlds you did amazing. Hopefully we'll have more D-Nair representation and Dark Knight representation this coming season, starting in September. Or actually we can start earning points now. Y'all know what to do.
Well, it's extra exciting for us West Coasters as well, knowing the next 2 Worlds are over here. Like I already have buddies that have picked up.
I have a picture.
Yeah, so it's just you know where and when it's happening. Just
for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You also know that spectator passes are gonna be sold at a premium.
Well, the nice thing about being a battler is you probably know someone going.
Yeah, you get 2 of them if I'm not mistaken.
So it does also help to be someone who could just, happen to be in the area.
I mean, I told myself at the start of the season that I was gonna try, but I wasn't gonna try to like make Worlds, because 2025 it's gonna be like, But then I saw that 2026 was confirmed to be in San Francisco, and I go, yeah, I don't like San Francisco.
Do I? Okay, I'm just gonna jump it. What don't you like about San Francisco?
Well, for one, it's in California. It's not near Disneyland.
So that's the distance thing?
But it's kind of a distance thing. I don't know, like, I had my grandma went to San Francisco many years ago, and she kind of put a sour taste in my mouth about it. It was just like, she went out there and like a lot of people were quote unquote mean to her. And I'm like, Grandma, you are a sweet old lady. Who would be mean to you? But at the same time, I know it's my grandma. So
yeah, so someone you know had a bad experience. Okay.
Yeah.
However long ago that was.
20 years ago. Let's go. Well, also, wait, isn't the Redwood Forest in like the San Francisco area?
I mean, vaguely. It's
okay.
You would have to like make a day out of it, but yeah, it is doable.
Oh. Planet of the Apes lied to me then.
I'm sure they did.
If I did go to San Francisco, the first thing I would want to do is ride my bike down that very steep hill. It's also probably a very, very bad idea.
Yeah, there's some flirting with death immediately. Okay.
You know,
having been over there recently, there are definitely better areas, like more dedicated spaces for bikes, if that's a point that you would like to make sure to enjoy.
Gotcha. But yeah, so that's kind of like my whole take. It is a straight shot though from here to Iowa via train, so I don't have to worry about like.
Do they have a train that goes like right along the 80 or something?
Pretty much. It's called the California Zephyr, and it goes from Chicago to San Francisco.
Yeah, that checks out.
And the best part, I don't have to drive across Nebraska. Someone else gets that job.
Or Utah. Like, the first half of Utah is just so bleh.
Yeah, people drive fast in Utah. I mean, the speed limit's 80, but golly. we drove when we drove to Los Angeles. We hit Utah. We were bored out of our mind until we got to that junction that got us on the I-15. I hit 65 miles an hour and people were still passing me like I was standing still.
Yeah, it's not gonna cut it.
Yeah, I got that. And then I saw a speed limit that said 80, and I go, all right, Brady, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make your car go fast.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, we know where the gas went.
Yeah, so the next two Pokemon World Championships are in California. Putting my side of California, my feelings about California aside, I think it would be very, very fun.
Well, and it's always fun if you know people going, right? Like, it's one thing to just go for the event. It's another thing to go for people, and I feel like the latter is usually the recipe for success.
Maybe, just maybe, I can convince the wife to make it an early 4-year anniversary present. Yes, I had to count how many years I got. I've been married.
Man, it's flying by.
Honestly, yeah, we're about to celebrate our 2-year anniversary. It doesn't feel like I've been married for 2 years. This podcast is almost 2 years old too.
They kind of have that handshake in common.
Yeah. The good thing is I can remember one, and then if I forget the age of like the podcast, I can remember my thing and vice versa. Ultimate cheat code.
Reverse engineer.
Yeah.
I like it.
The rest of just real quickly, the rest of the Play Pokemon stuff. Pogo Ice City will have its September Cup on September 22nd at 1 o'clock. That is a Sunday. So if you're traveling out of state, get here by 1 o'clock. Parking is free downtown at Critical Hit Games. There's also a number of hotels that you can go to. Do not park in the parking ramps because the prices went up as of July the 1st. They are now $2 after the first hour instead of $1.
Man, that sounds like such a minor problem.
I mean, everything went up $1. Like parking, it doesn't really. I mean, obviously, it doesn't really matter much because it's like, oh, it's an extra $1. But like, if somebody's parked there for like 8 hours, if they use a meter, it's like I think it's like now $2.75 instead of $1.75 for the hour. It's like math is hard.
Well,
it's like $10 a day.
When you said don't park in the parking whatever, my brain immediately goes to like downtown where they kind of just flat rate you, especially depending on day of the week, where it can be like $20 or $30. It's just like, yeah, that's not really worth it.
Yeah. Sunday, the parking meters are all free except the parking ramp. So we do that.
Don't ramp it.
Yeah, do not ramp. But at the same time, you got to get there early so you can get spots before they get taken up by people who just park their car and leave it there until Sunday night.
Plan ahead,
please. But like I said before, all are welcome. We are also a community community. That's so. I gotta think of a better name for that.
we have the ambassadation.
Yeah, we got the flag, back there. Here, let me just put away this picture. Yeah, there's the flag right there. So it's from 2023 because that's when they gave us the flag. We're probably not going to order a 2024 flag. It's no point. So, and of course, championship points are on the line, and yeah, that's about it. Championship points are on the line, and prize packs. What's up?
There's another challenge. Sort of like it's a little further away, but it's cool to know it exists.
Where is it? Oh wait.
It won't matter a ton for this episode. Well, it might. It'll be out in time. Yeah, because they're both on Sunday. So there's the San Diego one on Sunday, and also on Sundays there's a challenge in Temecula, which is just north on the 15. So
Oh,
a couple now. There's a couple within 30 miles, which is cool.
let's go.
And they're not LA, which is even better.
Uh,
Well, that's cool.
I love LA, but we're gonna make fun of it at the same time. That's okay. So we're gonna be fine doing that. LA, it's just a really big city, and really big cities get me nervous. I won't even go to Chicago. Forget about New York. LA was. I've been there too many times than I wanted to. I didn't like it when I went there for the Rose Bowl. I didn't like driving in it when I went to a Sinnoh tour. Driving around was not fun. Very scary.
Well, I'm glad I checked the event locator, which I recommend people to do if they want to check if there's any new things popping up in their area.
Absolutely. And if there are card shops in your area and you want, talk to the professor about setting up Go. And the worst they can do is say no. There is a template that you can use, like a nice little email template, and it may require you to do a little bit of lifting on your part, but once they hold their first event and the professor make friends with the professor, once they're comfortable, they'll accept you with open arms. It's like very, very rarely you get people. It's like, oh, you play Go? Oh, Lord goodness. I play TCG. That's so much better. Or I play the
just
VPC.
ignore the Twitch chat.
Yeah, just I like to say those people are scared to touch grass because our game is the only game that requires you to go outside and touch grass. So, to each their own.
That was I loved. I was watching KD46's stream the other night, and she was not having any of the bad juju they were throwing our way.
Oh yeah, when people were in the chat were talking about, oh, what's all this Go stuff, and we're like, don't be mad because we touch grass for fun. Everyone was like, bro's mad, and I go, you're the one that wanted to comment it, so I'm just matching your energy, homeboy.
Wait, I mean, that's the first mistake, right?
Yeah. No, I'm petty. Like, I am so petty. I won't do it to win. I will do it just to... I'll throw hands. Maybe that's why I don't work in food service anymore. Or customer service job in general. I don't know how I did it for 10 years.
Service your mouth with this fist.
Alrighty. So, with that... let's move on into our salsa bar. And where's the bacon? So, Jet, where's the bacon?
There were a couple more Lechonk checks, not very many, but we had the big Worlds event, so that was fine. Like, I like those bonds. We don't often get much love in the PvP department, so just the fact that they tried to give us a bunch of useful spawns is cool. But the total now for the Lechonk checks is 1983, and no shiny.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. If it makes you feel better, I haven't seen a single Lechonk out here, so I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, there was one today, so got to hop the counter up one more.
Lechonk, my beloved, come back to me. Just kidding. That's only reserved for one beloved, and his name is Flagon. I love this thing. I got this in Peoria and never looked back.
Abby Flagon.
He sits, just not on my shoulder.
Wait, I mean, that's a large selling point, I think, for plushies if they can actually present well. The ones that fall over are always so tough.
Yeah. All right, it's time for my salsa bar, and boy howdy, I learned something today.
Was it spicy?
It wasn't too spicy. It was just a matter of You know, you used to do something back in the day, and you haven't done it in a while. You
Oh,
just go back and try to do it again, and
an
it
old person
fails
story.
miserably.
Yep.
So, like I said before, I was down in Texas for 3 months. I was very, very inactive, mostly because I had to drive everywhere. And I didn't, stay in shape. I got more round. I looked a little bit more munchlaxy, almost evolved into a Snorlax. So, today was my second day at work at my brand new job. I love it. It's 5.5 miles away. Actually, it's 6 miles after all the routes are said and done. I tell myself, or the weekend before, I'm riding around a little bit. I'm doing like maybe 1, 2, 3 miles at most. And I got to do 6. Of course, I wake up this morning and I go, you know what? I can ride 6 miles. Brand new job. I gotta dress up in formal attire, quote unquote, or business casual. I'm gonna wear my long pants, I'm gonna wear my long sleeve shirt, button up. It's gonna be fine. It was the absolute worst mistake I have ever made in my life.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to pull off, even just like if you're biking to class, like not just being a sweaty mess. So doing the next level.
See, what made it worse is I was gonna leave at 7:30 in the morning and take an hour to get there. I left at 7:54. And that's 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes I had to make up somehow. But Google Maps says that I'll be there in 36 minutes. I was there in 28 minutes.
There you go.
I shaved 8 minutes off, but I was so sweaty. I was so thankful that I had, a towel with me. Like, I packed the essentials: towel, deodorant, so I don't smell bad.
extra undershirt.
Yeah, pretty much that. And like, I get there and it's just like plastic bag with or new clothes, but basic. Yeah, it was pretty rough. So I asked my boss if I could.
Did we learn anything?
Yeah, we did. Get up on time.
There you go.
I also asked my boss if I can bring a hanger and just hang my clothes in my cubicle, and they said as long as it's not a distraction. That wasn't a no.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a yes.
That sounds like a yes to me. So, and it's at a hotel, so maybe I can sneak a shower or two. I need to stop.
Yeah, let's not plot too far down this.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story: wake up on time, leave on time, and wear athletic clothes, because you're still in the middle of August. You have no business wearing business clothes when it's 60 degrees outside. But, and this is the but, it's 60 degrees outside. But when you ride your bike, it raises everything like 10 degrees.
Yeah, summer is summer. It's just hard to get around.
Yeah. In October, I might be able to get away with that stuff. Maybe November, but not August. So I packed my clothes, and they're nice and packed, and I've got my hanger.
Now you're ready for anything.
Yeah. I also forgot how many hills that my area has. It was not fun. I have to take an alternate route back home, because I am not climbing a hill like this twice. It's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me 3 weeks of riding this, I'll be okay. Today, no.
Yeah,
Absolutely
first week is pain.
Absolutely, my legs still hurt, and it's been 6 hours.
I believe it.
Alrighty, so where are we? Achievements, where we get to shout out community members of our Discord for doing what they think is awesome things, and we think it's awesome things because Also, I just realized that Donut is using the new emoji that I put in. He put it in yesterday. I love it. The Charmander. All right.
Oh yeah, the derp.
Yeah, I sometimes I'm adding new emojis and taking them away. You'll never know what you get. So
I saw that
first off,
too.
Oh yeah. So first off, I do want to point out this is not a Pokemon Go achievement. This is a main series game achievement because those of you that have played the main series games know this struggle, and that is Shiny Gimmighoul. It is impossible to attain one legitimately unless you do it during a special event. The Shiny Charm does not work. The raid power does not work. You get a 1 in 4,096 chance at doing a raid.
I think it's actually a little worse than full odds.
Okay, we are going. It's worse than 1 in 4,000. You gotta do 4,000 raids. Nah, we ain't about that.
Yeah.
I did 347 raids, and I finally got a Shiny Gimmighoul. It's the wrong Terra type. It's the wrong nature.
You can change that.
I know. I was like, it's the wrong Terra type. It's the wrong nature, and the IVs are out of whack. But you know what? It's shiny. I love it, and I will make this. I will put this on a team, just so I can show it off.
You've got coins to burn, apparently.
I have enough coins to make 3 after all the hunting. Because it maxes out at 999. So it maxes out at 999, but there's a man right by the Thag Tree Thicket where you fight the Poison Team Star member.
Mm-hmm.
In that little town. If you talk to him, he'll give you coins that you have collected over the 999 amount.
That's good to know. I actually didn't know. That's literally what I was about to ask about.
Yeah, he can actually hold 2. Basically, the max number of integer, like 2,147,000,000, yada, the integer number. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's like 2 raised to the 31st power minus 1.
So way more coins than you're probably ever going to get anyway.
Yeah.
Good to know. I don't know why we can't just hold them, but okay.
It's basically the biggest positive number that will fit in a 32-bit system in binary.
Cool. Well, congrats on that shiny, and I guess we can be a little bit more free with evolving now that we know the trick.
Yeah, collect all the coins.
Even if it doesn't seem like you're getting coins.
Yeah. You will have to beat up a lot of chests to find them. So I got that. I was very happy. And then I got a shiny Comfey that was during the event that was going on. I was beating up Comfeys left and right at the little outbreaks for it, and then I noticed one was a different color because the Scarlet and Violet is dumb in the sense it doesn't tell you when there's a shiny on the screen. You just have to look for it. And
yeah, and like the times of day, and then like heaven forbid it's in the water. It can be tough to tell.
Yeah, it's rough. I do not like it, but I still do it because apparently people really like shinies in the game. But if there's a really rare shiny, I'm going for it. Like that shiny Sandwich. So you also got a shout out, you getting a 96 Shadow Dratini, and then you just captioned it, and I'm as cool as Taco now. Or almost as cool as Taco.
Yeah, almost.
Almost. I mean, it's a 96. It's gonna be a coin flip and CMP tie, and maybe I'll do one more dragon breath damage in certain breakpoint, but
I feel like that would only be the case like if it was a difference in best buddy, but on its own, I seriously doubt it. So
gotcha. So yes,
it'll be
basically
like
it would-
one more damage from random charge moves, but it's probably fine.
yeah. And then we got a shout out first time vet Beatrix Skidoo, capped Ultra League alternate specialist for Dark Knight. We want to shout out Donut for the first time hitting expert. Honestly, I didn't think he was going to do it, but because he always gets vet and then chills out, and I'm proud of him for making expert.
Both of you guys, like there is no good reason that you haven't hit it. Like it's just doing the thing.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't do the thing.
Yeah, you just gotta do the thing.
I also did take a month off because Niantic broke their game, and I was just not going to do it. There was no reason.
Now is better. The crashes aren't a thing, so that's the good.
Actually, we had a crash at the Playbook at the local challenge today. Like both of us, the minute it said go, done. None of us.
That sounds like a different sort of issue, but yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, we want to shout out legends on both on Dinair and the Dark Knight. In no particular order, we've got Rainfall, Italy, new member, and Julian, the Master League specialist. So congrats to them, and kudos all around for your hard work and playing through what has been a very, very rough couple of weeks for Niantic PvP.
Everyone agrees this whole season was a little bit nutty.
I just want Fantasy Cup to come back so that I can play it more and not have the giant breakdowns. That's all I want.
Yeah, that is one of the like a little bit sad things is just like some of the stuff that could have been much more enjoyable just wasn't because of state of game stuff.
So that also kind of moves us nicely into our GBL progress. I fell hard, and I'm back up to 2,500. Like, exactly.
All right, now you're ready for the expert push.
Honestly, I'll try it. I don't want to, but I'm gonna come kicking and screaming into it, so. We got a couple of days. I got about 12 days left of the season, so.
Yeah, well, and you get a couple bonus days, right? Like, because it doesn't end on the 1st.
Oh yeah, you're right. So that's
like you have legitimately 2 weeks.
Yeah, 14 days. So I'll see how far I can climb there, and we'll see what happens. And how are you doing in the GBL progress?
I got to recover all my elo from my various things that I've been trying with Donut's team actually. So that was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. So I'm back in the 2800s.
Proud of you.
Well, we'll see if we can make Donut's team work.
I need to get Donut's team and try it out. If not, I'm gonna go back to. I think the team that I'm using just doesn't work anymore. It was Shadow Alolan, Powder Snow Alolan, and Sand Slash, Shadow Gator, and then Azumarill in the back. Which, if I see Lantern, I cry. Sorry, if I see Lantern anywhere that isn't a lead, I cry.
Yeah. Every team has something like that, right? Just while we're still talking about GBL, I just want to shout out a team I saw today because I think it was my favorite from the whole Go Battle Week that I saw. That was just like, okay, this is cool. I can vibe with this. Like, just as far as this person is just has to be having fun playing the game right now. Mm-hmm. which was a Shadow Dragonair lead with Shadow Feraligatr and Shadow Empoleon.
They want to get as much use out of their Shadow Empoleon before it goes away forever.
Well, and there's been a lot of those teams too, not just in my games, but as well like watching other people's streams. Like it's clear that people are trying to get mileage out of the things that they know aren't going to be useful next season.
I caught a rank 18 Licky today.
Well, that's good. Nothing wrong with that.
So I know what I'm doing next season. Licky to rank 20. No, that's a terrible idea. Licky to legend is an even worse idea.
Yeah, Licky with the well, I mean, you have you're gonna have a lot of people running that Alolan Marowak, whether they have the shadow or not. So Licky with the rollout and the Shadow Ball, I think it'll work.
It'll do serviceable, I think. But maybe Niantic might change their ways and give Body Slam a buff the following season. So maybe Lickitung comes back a little bit. Who knows?
I'll be surprised if Lickitung actually falls off a large amount, like especially people that already have it built. I know Licky is cheaper, but it's also going to be a fairly different experience if you're used to the bulk of Lickitung.
Yeah. I'm not used to it because I've only had Lickitung.
Yeah.
I've only had Lickitung on my roster for 2 months. So.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Hey, that could be one of your cornerstone pieces for your end of season stuff.
Right. All right. So, with that being said, it is time we say our goodbyes. Thank you all so much for watching, and welcoming us back to the video podcast. And for those of you listening, thank you so much for listening week in and week out. It really does mean the most. This is honestly my favorite part of the week, aside from work. Kidding, I don't like work. This is like this is just like work. Yeah. No. The minute this becomes work is the day I stop doing podcasting.
Yeah.
So, thank you all so much for allowing us to do this. It really does mean the most. I love each and every one of you. You are awesome. And on that note of, us being 2 years old, Jay, we gotta do something. Maybe like an Ask Me Anything or something. I just gotta...
we could just have like a toddler birthday party. we can build some Legos, do a stream.
If I had Legos, I'd definitely do that. Or maybe we do like a stream of... Actually, I can't think of anything right now. We'll think of something.
Do you still have packs to open?
No. I do not. But I did get some Series 5 packs, but I opened them without thinking. So.
Sometimes it's hard to resist.
Yeah.
Gotta see what you got.
Yeah, I did do a decent trade today. We had someone really wanted Miss Energy, and they traded me a Buddy Poppin' for it, which I need more of those for my deck.
Nice.
So, with all of that being said, it is time for us to say goodbye. And always remember, keep those Dragon Fangs sharp. Stay away from those fairy types. Charm needs another nerf. You cannot change my mind. And until next time, we will see you all in our next episode. Bye-bye.
Maybe even on the battlefield.